Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Just in Time Cafe. I am Elizabeth Swan, co-founder of the Just in Time Cafe, and I'll be your moderator today. And if you have not been to the cafe before, you are in for a treat. I am psyched about today's webinar for a lot of different reasons. But Omotenashi, customer service from the heart. And with guest host today, Edwin Garro. Edwin is the chairman of PXS, that's Performance Excellence Solutions. He is the co-author of Your Creativity Sprint. He's author of a book on design for Six Sigma. The title's in Spanish, and I'm not good at that. You understand, Edwin.
Yeah.
Edwin is a master trainer at Lateral Thinking, Six Thinking Hats and Design Thinking. He's also a certified trainer in strategic thinking and a Shingo certified instructor, and CQE, CQA, CMQ, OE, CQI. Oh my God, there's so many acronyms here from ASQ. I can't even keep up with you, Edwin. He is a former ASQ fellow, former ASQ board member, and former ASQ regional director for Latin America. He's also an associate academician for the International Academy for Quality, a blogger, a podcaster, writer, speaker. He's going anywhere they let him in. So I am so welcome, Edwin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All the way from Costa Rica. I'm asking you guys where you are. Let's see. We've got a few housekeeping items. You can ask questions anytime. Just put them in the chat. I'm going to keep my eye on the chat and make sure that if you want something, Edwin wants to be alerted right away. So I will, I'll try not to interrupt Edwin, but I'll look for beautiful moments where I can get that question in. So don't be shy. This session will be available on our website the following Monday. Those of you who are old hands at coming to these webinars, you know that, but anyone joining us for the first time, we post them on the Monday, so you can go look on our website, but we'll also email you. Once you join a webinar, you're on our email list, and so you'll get an alert when the webinar is available. And any extras Edwin wanted to throw our way, I'll include those in the email. So first activity, we find out where everybody is from, which I kind of love. Oh my God, look at this. So we have San Diego, we got Ottawa, we've got Blake in Delaware, Creusa, San Diego, Ani from Costa Rica. Welcome, more Costa Ricans, yeah. Jenny in Gainesville, Corey from Winnipeg. We got Carl in Irvine, Jesse in Vermont. Wow, we've got a whole gang. No, we got Gus from Santiago, Chile. Welcome, Gus. Russell, Wisconsin, Colleen, Missouri, Karen. Oh yeah, my East Coaster buddy from Rhode Island. We got Kara in Washington. Welcome, Kara. Vernon, Hawaii. Wow, getting all the way out there into the Pacific. We got Jennifer in Vermont, Bruce in East Pennsylvania, Callan, Richland, Jim, Nebraska, Sandy, Everett, Ron, Calgary, Grand Rapids, Colleen, go. Anya, San Diego Health. Yeah, Anya, way to go, San Diego Health. I love that. UC San Diego Health. And then Olga, welcome, Bay Area. And then Jose in Arizona, Sharon in Washington, Isabel in New Jersey. Man, this is awesome. I love it. This is great. Okay, so I also want to give you a few tips on what's out there and what's coming up. You have the Just in Time Cafe podcast. We just hit 100 episodes and we celebrated with our buds from Lean Whiskey. So that's another podcast with Mark Graben and Jamie Flinchbaugh. And we just got into what made a good podcast. So, and it was a really fun episode. And we had whiskey cocktails. So you'll find out all of our favorite whiskey cocktails. I'll put these links into the chat momentarily. And then next month, we've got an awesome new webinar with some guys who are part of the process improvement team at the Navy in San Diego. And so Tracy's going to host that one because she also works with them. But they're talking about the issue they get with greenbelts that say, oh, you know, is there something I can do? Is there a project I can get involved with? You know, they get their training and they're in the danger of kind of one and done. right? Oh, I got my green belt, you know, and then they kind of wander away and you never hear from them again. So they talk about their methods that work to keep green belts engaged. So I'll put the link for that in there too. So with that, I'm going to turn you back to my esteemed guest from Costa Rica, Edwin Garro. Take it away, Edwin.
Okay, let me check something. Yeah. So hi everybody. Hola. Hola from Costa Rica. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you for the invitation. Thank you, everybody. Nice to meet everybody, including, well, I know Ana, because she's from Costa Rica. I know who she is. The guy from Chile, I don't know you guys, right? And everybody. And I think Ruth Stanley is here. Do I know Ruth? Hi, Ruth. All right, so, oh man, I love this subject. And the idea today is to talk about Omotenashi. And it's impossible to talk about Omotenashi without talking about green tea and the tea ceremony. Okay, all right, so what's going to happen in the next hour? We're going to talk about origins and definition, the three parts of an outstanding service, taking care of the invisible. Something very important, the customer is kami. We will see what kami is in a minute. But the host is also kami. We will see that. And then for especially for those of you who work in manufacturing, if you work in services, this will make sense right away. If you don't, if you work in manufacturing, this is also going to make sense. It's going to take a little longer to understand this in a manufacturing context. Questions, as Elizabeth said, anytime. Okay, I can do this in pretty good Spanish or in not very good English. So I guess I'll do it in English. Okay, is that okay with everybody? All right. So let me give you a brief story about my relation with the word Omotenashi. Okay, it started with my first visit to Japan, which was almost 30 years ago, 29 years ago, February. Okay, and it was incredible to see the kind of service, not just because it was great service, but mostly because it was constant everywhere. Everywhere it was the same constant, stable service. I didn't know there was a concept or a philosophy behind it. And I just understood that philosophy, which is Omotenashi, about 3 years ago. So I found the word, the concept that explains why when you go to Japan, it's not when you go to Japan, it's when you return to your country or to the US or Europe that you feel, what happened? Where is that service that I had the last 2 months or the last 2 weeks or whatever time you spend in Japan? Okay, so let me add one quick story from 29 years ago. So my first visit to Japan, I went to study international trade for manufacturing industries. That was 29 years ago, and it was about 2 months. 2 months stay. Okay. There was another Costa Rican there. Her name is Rosela Moya. Just about the time she was coming back to Costa Rica, she asked me to accompany her to a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant called, of all names, El Borracho, right? The drunken man or something like that. So El Borracho. So, okay, so we went to El Borracho and we got lost. So when you get lost in Japan, you try to find a younger person, and that person is probably going to speak some English, okay? So we asked a guy if he could help us if he could help us with the directions to El Borracho. And he went like El Borracho, actually El Borracho, El Borracho, El Borracho, El Borracho. And he stopped a second guy, El Borracho. And the two guys stopped a third guy. So it was Rosella, myself, three Japanese. And the three Japanese didn't stop, didn't leave us until all of us found El Borracho. Okay? So was that customer service? No, it wasn't customer service. It was a good Samaritan thing that I never understood. And I thought, is this a random event? Three Japanese helping two gaijin, us, not Japanese. And no, that's also consistent. If you get lost in Japan, people will help you get to your place no matter what. All right. So I finally found the word. I finally found the concept about 3 years ago, Omotenashi. And about a year ago, in a trip to Japan, in another trip to Japan, I made an explanation of what Omotenashi was to this lady here, my good friend Mami Takeda. And I know Elizabeth knows Mami, and I know maybe some of you know Mami. Okay. And after my explanation of Omotenashi, Mami went like this. No, that is not Omotenashi. Okay. And we've been having this discussion about whether a gaijin can grasp and understand Omotenashi. And Mami's conclusion is that I'm getting better. I don't know if she could say that I'm good. I don't know if I'm up to good, but at least I'm getting better. Okay. So something else that you need to know about me is that my middle age crisis is very simple. T-shirts. Okay? It's not sport cars or fancy things. It's just T-shirts. So you can see me there in Japan with my Football is Life T-shirt, of course, from Ted Lasso. And for this webinar, I decided to wear my Kaizen T-shirt. Okay, Kaizen is going to be kind of important in a minute. Now, something else. Okay. So again, about 3 years ago, I decided that it was a good time to trade my car, to get a new car. And something else you have to understand about me is that every time I decide to buy a car, it takes me about a year to make a decision. I go to all the dealers, I read all the reviews, and I decided to go for a Lexus. All right, so I have my Lexus, a small Lexus, the Lexus that I could afford. I love it. I love my Lexus. But when I went to the dealer, something happened. Something else happened. I asked Marielle here, Marielle Fallas. She sold me my car. She's the one who made me buy my Lexus. One day when I was there, like for the 5th visit without deciding, and when I buy a car, maybe some of you remember one of the great TV detectives, Columbo. If you remember Columbo, Columbo kept going back. Remember? You remember? That's me buying a car. That's me buying. I keep going back. I keep going back. So one day I asked Marielle, by the way, there's a concept in Lexus that you're supposed to know. You know anything about Omotenashi? And she went like, what? You know about Omotenashi? Okay, so this is, I didn't want to make this story this long, but what happened was that I became Omotenashi's consultant for the local Lexus dealer. Okay, and I love Marielle. And in fact, I'll see her this Saturday because we have they have a big car expo, and I was invited to the expo by Lexus. So, and here Marielle is holding her little certificate of my Omotenashi workshop, and this is her. This is her. She said after the workshop, the thing I like the most is that for me from now on, Omotenashi is service from heart to heart. Okay, so in fact, this year I'm supposed to extend the reach of my Omotenashi workshop to all the Toyota dealers in the country. All right, so that's the origin story. That's how I started to be intrigued with Omotenashi for many years without knowing what it was, and lately studying it, and being an apprentice. I am an apprentice of Omotenashi, and hopefully, mommy one day will say that I know something about Omotenashi. Okay, so let's start with the term itself. It's so difficult to define something in Japanese because it's usually an idea, not just a definition. So, mote, without the O, mote is front. Nashi is nothing. Altogether with that O is serving the guest without expecting anything in return. It's all about the service. And it's even more than that. It's anticipating the service. And let me go back just a second, because Marielle is an expert in anticipating the needs of the customer. She knows how to read the potential customer. Okay, that is something I recognize about her. Now, tea ceremony room here, and I think I have another tea ceremony room. Another definition, again, service from heart to heart, service without expecting anything in return, or a sense of incredible hospitality in which no detail is spared to ensure a great experience for guests. Its origin, it's in the tea ceremony, charo in Japanese. And there's a person, there's a guy, this guy, Sen no Rikyu. He's the father of the tea ceremony. Now, has anybody here been in a tea ceremony ever? A real Japanese tea ceremony? Anybody?
I'm not seeing anyone chime in, although Anna says that your process for selecting cards is similar to hers. Oh, Jennifer says yes to you.
Right. Okay.
And let me see, someone else I think had a thumbs up next to their name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Gus from Chile.
Yeah, Gus does too. Yeah.
So let me tell you, let me tell you what I remember about my tea ceremony. What I remember about my tea ceremony 29 years ago is that, okay, Colleen lived in Japan a year, exchange student. Okay. All right. So what I remember is that time disappeared. The rest of the world disappeared. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know why, but that is what I remember, that everything else disappeared during the tea ceremony, during my tea ceremony. Okay, so for Sen no Rikyu, the tea ceremony had to be simple but perfect, humble. It had to be a humble experience, and there was a reason for that. The tea ceremony room, it's always a small room because he wanted it to be about the moment, not about luxury, not about big things. Okay, he wanted it to be about a perfect moment between guest and host And let me go here. I'll return to that in a second. Host, guest, and environment. He wanted that to be perfect. He wanted to be wow. Perfect harmony between the three things. Okay, let me go back here. The problem was that the ruler of the moment, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, wanted the tea ceremony to be huge. He wanted a gold room for the tea ceremony. Senno Rikyo insisted that no, it had to be simple and perfect at the same time. It had to be about the moment. And the result is that at age 70, this guy, Hideyoshi, ordered this guy, Senno Rikyo, to kill himself, to go to seppuku. And I've been thinking a lot, because on the one hand, Senno Rikyo never followed what Hideyoshi wanted. But on the other hand, the moment Hideyoshi told him he had to kill himself, a ritual ceremony, I mean, why he agreed to kill himself, and why he never agreed to change anything in the tea ceremony. And I suddenly got it. Actually, this morning, he honored the tea ceremony as it is by committing seppuku, by killing himself. Okay, so maybe you're thinking, all right, so great service is Omotenashi. No, that is not enough, because Omotenashi is initiated by the host, not by the customer. While customer service is guest started or guest initiated. Everything about Omotenashi is anticipating what the customer or the guest is going to need. And that's the very difference. Okay, so a sushi chef doesn't go to the fish market at 3 a.m. in the morning because he wants to get good prices. He goes at 3 a.m. in the morning because he wants to get the best fish, because he's anticipating the guests that he or she is going to have later in the day. All right, so let's start here, and let's get deeper into the environment, the host, and the guest. You guys know this. On the one hand, we have disgusted customers all the way to happy customers. Then we have very poorly done to excellently done. That's the Kano model. Dr. Noriaki Kano, still alive. I get to see him. I get to meet him twice a year, usually. What a smart guy. He's so smart. Okay. So, and we know this, and this is what we care about. The basic requirements, right? If they are not there, if the requirements, not the client, I thought I took care of that. If the requirement is not there, I mean, if the requirement is there, then the guest does not notice it, right? The problem is when it's not there. And we don't even need to talk about the proportional requirements. We don't even need to talk about the delightful requirements now, because what we need to do is we need to take care of the invisible. We need to take care of the invisible. So every time I go to Lexus, the first person I see is Diana. Diana is right at the entrance of the dealer. And when I ask her, okay, Diana, what do you remember about Omotenashi? She always answers to take care of the invisible. Okay, we need everything to be perfect if we want to give the customer more than that. So one of the words that I'm going to use here in Japanese is korawari. And this is interesting because korawari could mean perfection, commitment, but it's not perfectionism. Be careful about it. It's the commitment to do something to the minimum detail. So there's another word that we use in Lean that it's kind of similar. It's right here. Kaizen. Right? So there's a connection between Kaizen and korawari. The difference is the commitment to detail in korawari. Okay, but we don't even need to go to the proportional requirements. We don't even need to go to the delightful requirements. We need to stay in the basic requirements. By the way, something I didn't say at the beginning, it's your part in this webinar. I want you people to take one concept, just one for you, and something that is personal. Okay, so out of everything that I'm saying, what strikes you the most? What is personal for you? Because I don't want you to become Japanese. I don't want to become Japanese. I'm fine being Costa Rican. I want to learn how to be a better person, a better Lean professional, a better service provider. Okay, so the same for you here. Out of all the concepts that we are seeing here, what is the one that strikes you the most? Okay, so we need to have a perfect environment, not necessarily a powerful environment. Okay, so we want to be Segnor Rikyu. We don't want to be Toyotomi Hideyoshi. We don't want to be that guy. Okay, so now super important, and this is the main part of this presentation, the big event. So let's go straight to it. There's a phrase in Japanese, but by the way, I have studied Japanese, but I'm really bad at speaking or understanding or writing or everything. Okay, so what I do is I get deeper in the concepts that teach me something. And maybe you heard something about this phrase before. You see? Okyoku-sama wa kamisama desu. The customer is coming. The customer is coming. Maybe you heard this before. The customer is coming. Okay? The right way to say it is the customer is divine. The customer is a deity or a God, not God, the big guy, no, a God. Okay, so in the Shinto religion, it's very easy to make everything sacred. And in fact, there are 8 million gods, small gods. Families usually make their deceased members their gods. And it's very easy to find in Japanese neighborhoods little altars, little shrines in front of the houses. And if you ask, that's for grandpa, that's for grandma. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 examples. One of them is fictional, the other is real. Okay, so you're going to decide which one is fictional and which one is real. So let me start with this one. All right, so who knows what this is? I have to check Shogun myself. I remember when I was a kid, I saw the old one. Okay, what's happening? What's happening in the screen right now? What is that?
You might have to describe it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for. Nah, okay. So all right. So again, I don't know if this is the fictional or the real example, but this is from a movie, Spirited Away. Yeah, it's in Netflix if you want to watch it. Okay, let me show you here the characters. Okay, so here we have uh Spirited. Yeah, yes. Okay, so here we have the main character of the movie, Chihiro. I think is her name. I think it's actually like this. Okay, so this is Chihiro. Chihiro is a human that is suddenly Chihiro. Thank you, Anna. It's suddenly in a fantastic world, trying to find her parents, who are now pigs, by the way. And this here is Yubaba. Yubaba is yes, Studio Ghibli. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, I think it's 2012, 2013 Oscar for an animated movie. Okay, so Yubaba happens to be the boss. Chihiro is the hostess here, and right here we have the river god that is just visiting the bathhouse where Chihiro is now working while she is trying to find her parents. Okay, what I see here is that everybody, despite some initial reluctance to serve the river god, everybody here, the other characters here are fantastic characters. They are from that land. So we have a human, we have a witch, we have other characters. All of them are into Omotenashi. Omo. I'm creating new words. Omotenashi. So they can't help it. And what I love about this part of the movie is that Yubaba says it. One of the 8 million gods is coming for a bath. Check it. Check the movie. Check the movie. One of them is coming for a bath. Now, the problem here is this. Yubaba is the boss, right? But she hates Chihiro. And she hates Chihiro because Chihiro is human. This is the customer. Okay, this is the way the river spirit comes into the bathhouse, and this is the way he lives. Okay, so did Yubaba manage for Omotenashi? My answer is no, she didn't. No, she didn't. So it's not a management thing. It's a cultural thing. Everybody went into Omotenashi mode. Okay, the customer is coming, and in this case, it's very, very, very much so that it's coming. Now, let me go to the second example. Could be real, could be fictional. You decide. There's a little video here. You don't really need to hear anything, but let me see if no, same thing. For some reason, I don't have the ability to share sound, but it's okay. We don't need it. Did I stop sharing?
No, you're still good.
Okay, good. All right, so check the video. Maybe you know this. This is called the 7 minutes miracle. Elizabeth's been there. I've been there. If anyone else been there, let us know, okay? This is the service that cleans the bullet trains, the Shinkansen. And it used to be that nobody wanted to work there because the Japanese don't like to work in dirty environments. But something happened, and this is the reason why it's called the 7 minutes miracle. Okay, let's see. Okay, check the cleaning staff. So we already talked about Yubaba, right? Yubaba the witch, who happened to be the boss of Chihiro, and she had nothing to do with Omotenashi, but here is the opposite. This is Jabe-san. Oh, more Jabe Sensei. Okay, here is Mr. Jabe. And this is last year's group from Costa Rica. The new group from Costa Rica is leaving in a month, by the way. And here you have the miracle. Jabe made the whole cleaning situation a performance. They are not cleaning any longer. They are performing for the people waiting for the train. So at the end of the performance, everybody claps, everybody applauds, everybody, excellent, because everybody knows how incredible is what they are doing. If you see their bags, the things they use for cleaning, they are the result of Kaizen. They made them all. They made them all. So what is happening here? So I call this, I don't think even Mr. Jabe calls it the way I call it. I call it reverse Omotenashi. You guys remember that the customer is coming? The guest is coming. So guess what? The server, the host, is also coming. So many of the things that Mr. Jabe did were just making the people like their job. So remember this, and this is something I learned recently, and it's not necessarily Japanese, but it makes sense. It connected. Be a noun, not a verb. Okay, so instead of cleaning, be a cleaning performer. Right? Instead of serving, be a server. Well, see the power of being a noun and not being a verb. And so it's not what you do, it's what you are. And if you want to deep more into that, this is the book where I got the concept. Originals by Adam Grant. Great writer. Okay. Because at the end, and we want to see this in another 5 minutes, at the end, we want to develop character in the host and hostess. Character. Which is even more than just setting good behaviors, because behaviors are still verbs. We want to instill character in the servers, and we are all servers. All right. So I'm sure you've heard this word in every Japanese restaurant you've gone in your life, irashaimase. Irashaimase. It's very simple. Irashaimase is welcome. Come in, please. But once again, once a Japanese host or hostess says irashaimase, you know you have the full attention of that person, because that person wants to put in your head an experience that you will never forget. And that is omoide.
Did you see the question from Chuck?
I saw a question. Let me check it.
He says, what you said about the manager, something like he got the team to enjoy what they were doing.
Exactly. Exactly. So then we have two cases, and let me go back to that. So we have case one, there's no managing for Omotenashi here. Yubaba didn't manage anything. Omotenashi just took over. Case two, this is managing for Omotenashi. Yabe-san managed the best of the people, and they became cleaning performers. You know, there's a Stanford business case. There are lots of videos about this. Okay, so was that the question, Chuck? And well, that was the question. Is this an answer?
He said thanks.
Okay, all right. So I'm intrigued if at the end Omotenashi took over Mr. Yabe also. Only this time he was the leader. So something else. Mr. Yabe is only it's about 80 years old, and it's very common in Japan that after retirement, big executives go to work for smaller companies that really will use their experience, their expertise, and their wisdom. And this is the case. Mr. Yabe is the case. All right. So omoide. So the what you're going to remember, but getting an outstanding experience out of your encounter with a service in Japan. Okay, so and this is one of the things that you notice once you go back to your country. That everything that is in here disappeared. It is no longer that incredible, that magical. All right. So there's another word here that is important. And we go back to the tea ceremony guy, Segno Riki, and it's Ichigo Ichie. Once a chance, just this one, never again. Only chance at a lifetime. It's one time, one meeting. That would be the more literal translation. One time, one meeting. So the host has one in a lifetime opportunity to serve the guest. And the guest has one in a lifetime opportunity to be served. Now, there's a reason for this picture, and I forgot. I just remember why I put this picture here. That's the sakura, the cherry blossom. No, I've never seen it. I've never been at the right time. I was either a little early or a little late. Why? Because it's Ichigo Ichie. It's a perfect moment for the cherry blossom. It's a perfect moment for the sakura. If you miss it, you miss it. That's it. Okay, so remember, Ichigo Ichie. I only have this opportunity to talk to you about this. You only have this opportunity to ask me these questions. And if you want a book about it, 4,000 Weeks. An awesome book that was recommended by my Canadian friend, Tim. I don't know if he's here. And when you think about it, if you calculate that you are going to live about 80 years or so, sounds like a lot. But if you realize that 80 years is only 4,000 weeks, you change the way you live. You go straight to Ichigo Ichie. All right. So let's go back to early childhood to try to understand why that person at the airport, at a restaurant, or at the Lexus dealership gave me such an outstanding service. All right, what you see here is something that happens in every elementary school in Japan every single day. Elizabeth's been there. I've been there. Okay, so there's no cleaning personnel in the schools. All the kids clean the school every single day. Okay, the older kids are in charge of the bathrooms. By the way, okay, that's the picture to my left, and the picture to my right is that this is also something that happens every single day in every Japanese school. They have lunch in their classrooms, and the lunch is served by the teacher. And they clean the classroom after they finish the lunch. They clean the school before they go to lunch, and everything is perfect. So the principal of this school that we visited last year gave us this to think about. He asked us, what was the purpose for life that you learned in your elementary school? Right? And there were Mexicans and Costa Ricans in my group, and all of us went like, none. No. Okay, so, and the principal said, so you see, here in Japan, every single day, every kid is reminded to do your best and to fulfill your promises. Okay, so if that happens every single day for years and years and years, it becomes part of you. All right. So is there a way to use this in manufacturing? Because I think for services, it's kind of easy, right? Okay, it's a one-on-one experience. You anticipate what the customer wants. So how can we use this in manufacturing? All right. So it turns out that Lexus uses Omotenashi, and they call it their spiritual mission. Okay, one thing. This is not necessarily a Lexus term, Takumi, but Takumi craftsmanship, it is actually, the name is protected by Lexus. Okay, so a Takumi is one of those super experts, at least 60,000 hours of practice, usually 30 years. And there are a few in each plant. There can be Takumi dealers. I don't know any yet, but that's something that could happen. There are Takumi drivers that check the car itself while driving the car. So this is the first thing. So this has a lot to do with Kodawari, pursuit of perfection, right? Okay. Now, Omotenashi becomes a big part of the whole journey of a car, from design to manufacturing to ownership. Customers, owners are treated like guests. Okay? Now, anticipating what the customer needs, it's the spirit of Omotenashi, and that's very easy to do in the design of the cards. So many of the things that you see in a Lexus are anticipated from the potential need of the customers. And it doesn't have to do with luxury, because luxury is easy to do. If you compare Lexus, let's say, okay, let's compare Omotenashi design by Lexus. And you don't have to like Lexus, okay? I love it, but you don't have to like it. Now, let's compare Omotenashi design with engineering design. So the Germans are awesome for engineering design. And as a result, many times they over-design their cars. There are so many Omotenashi things in the design of a Lexus that you don't even notice they are there. Now, same goes for the focus on reliability and safety, focus on small invisible details, and this goes back to the Takumi. So, to give you an example, the paint is constantly polished through the manufacturing process, many more times than any other brand, because in each time they get rid of minute imperfections that nobody's going to see. Okay, and again, Omotenashi is the spiritual statement of Lexus. If you want to know more about this, there's a podcast. Go and see. Very, very well-known writer. Okay, if you like podcasts, go and see. It's like 6 episodes, I think. Okay, it's about Lexus, and a couple of them are about Omotenashi. Okay, so we're about to finish. In summary, we have to have a perfect environment for the big event, because the Kami is coming. Attention to every detail, and that doesn't mean that it has to be a powerful big thing. For us lean people, that means that our work processes have to be consistent and stable. 2 words here: Kodawari, look for perfection, and wa, harmony. Let me add another one here. What am I trying to say here? Kaizen, that's what I'm trying to say. Let me add Kaizen here. So the host or hosted serves from the heart. All the attention, once you have your guest with you, all the attention, you're going to do your best, gambarimasu, and you're going to deliver on your promises. Yakusaku momoru. Okay? And you're going to become a takumi, an expert in what you do. And of course, you only have one opportunity to serve. But once again, we have the third part, which is the kami, the guest. Okay, so for the guest, this is, of course, Ichigo, ichie. Gonna have a great experience, so respect the fact that we are getting a great experience, and that is going to be an omoide, a great memory for all of us. All right, so embrace Omotenashi as an apprentice. You can get better and better and better. So maybe one day Mami Takeda will say, okay, you officially know a little something about Omotenashi. And my last question for you to finish here is, what you got about this?
Go ahead and put that into the chat.
Yes.
If you can. Like, what did you take away? What was the most, what struck you the most, as he's asking? important or intriguing. And for me, I think it was the concept of being a noun, not a verb, kind of back to the folks cleaning the train were performers, right? They were doing a performance, and that's just a different way of thinking about yourself. And I think so. How do you see yourself? Just thinking about that. Jose said, main takeaway. Oh, Ruth said small moments of perfection. Jose said customer service is customer initiated. Omotenashi is host initiated.
Isn't that awesome, Jose? Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Anticipation of what the customer is going to need. Sean, something about Ichigo Ichie is very different from YOLO. What is YOLO? You only live once, so you're gonna do a lot of stupid stuff. No, that is completely different from Ichigo Ichie. Yeah, embrace the moment. All right.
Yeah.
But what are you? Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just seeing just that resonated. That one chance to do your best. Go ahead, Edwin.
Yeah, so Russell says, take care of the invisible. It's so simple, right? Take care of the invisible. Okay, if the only way the customer will see the invisible if it is not there, that's so crazy, right? I love Dr. Khan. Chuck says, yes, orange. Okay. Karen says, enjoy what you are doing. Yes. Remember, you're also Kami. Perform.
Yeah.
Okay. What you are is more important than what you do. Okay. That's what Jennifer said. Okay. All right. Thought provoking, hopefully. And Anya said, thank you very much. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, boss.
I know. Now I have this new concept of being your host, and then you are also our guest host. And we're talking about being a host. And yeah, thank you so much for bringing this and for being so thoughtful. Oh, arigato gozaimasu. That's what right there.
I wanted to put at least one word in Spanish. And enjoy your green tea, and remember that don't take it for granted. There's a lot of history behind the green tea, and for those of you who had experienced a tea ceremony, that is magical. Muy bueno. Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah. We'll end it on that. And Jenny's, thank you for the inspiration. Thank you, Edwin. This was lovely, and thanks everybody for engaging. We'll see you hopefully next month. Bye, everybody.
Bye.